A small house will hold 100 friends. A woman is a flower in a garden. Her husband is the fence around it. The mother hen does not break its own eggs. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. A fool cannot untie the knot tied by a wise man. Just because the lizard nods his head doesn't mean he's in agreement. In art, there are tears that do often lie too deep for thoughts. We are ruled by chance, but never have enough patience to accept its despotism. In about the same degree as you are helpful, you will be happy. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. The old woman looks softer, the child's grow its teeth, and the young one in turn looks after the old woman when she loses her teeth. When brothers fight to the death, a stranger inherits their father's estate. A problem well stated is a problem half solved. Give advice if people don't listen. Let adversity teach them. Human life is but a series of footnotes to a vast, obscure, unfinished masterpiece. It is difficult to be emphatic when no one is emphatic on the other side. A man's ruin lies in his tongue. The fool has to say something. A wise person has something to say. Even doubtful accusations leave a stain behind them. The aim of argument or discussion should not be victory, but progress. There is no fool who is disowned by his family. It is hard to cure madness that originates in the family. Since barbarism has its pleasures, it naturally has its apologists. For an impenetrable shield, stand inside yourself. Proverbs, like the sacred books of each nation, are the sanctuary of the intuitions. There is nothing that gives more assurance than a mask. Before you contradict an old man, my fair friend, you should endeavor to understand him. The energy which makes a child hard to manage is the energy which afterward makes him a manager of life. He will be the slave of many masters who is his body's slave. Family must look out for family. A child is not frightened at the thought of being patiently transmuted into an old man. Home affairs are not talked about on the public square. A man gazing at the stars is proverbially at the mercy of the puddles in the road. If relatives help each other, what evil can hurt them? A proverb is no proverb to you till your life has illustrated it. If men and women are in chains anywhere in the world, their freedom is endangered everywhere. You can't comfort the afflicted without afflicting the comfortable. Continuity in everything is unpleasant. Cold is agreeable, that we get warm. There is a certain relief in change, even though it be from bad to worse. Of all human foibles, love of living is the most powerful. To get lost is to learn the way. Other people's wisdom prevents the king from being called a fool. A wise man fills his head before emptying his mouth. Advice after injury is like medicine after death. The greatest of faults, I should say, is to be conscious of none. Proverbs, like the sacred books of each nation, are the sanctuary of the intuitions. He will be the slave of many masters, who is his body's slave. The bad are frequently good enough to let you see how bad they are, but the good as frequently endeavor to get between you and themselves. Like dreams, farces show the disguised fulfillment of repressed wishes. When you want to believe in something, you also have to believe in everything necessary for believing in it. Disaster appears to crush one man now, but afterward, another. Look for the ridiculous in everything, and you will find it. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. It's the admirer and the watcher who provoke us to all the insanities we commit. The bad are frequently good enough to let you see how bad they are, but the good as frequently endeavor to get between you and themselves. The secret of contentment is knowing how to enjoy what you have. All beauties are to be honored, but only one embraced. You cannot step twice into the same river, for other waters are continually flowing in. A child does not laugh at the ugliness of his mother. Children are the reward of life. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. You can bear anything if it isn't your own fault. A proverb is no proverb to you till your life has illustrated it. He who can traverse the pit of darkness will emerge a stronger, more compassionate person. If 50 million people say a foolish thing, it's still a foolish thing. He who earns calamity eats it with his family. There are 152 different ways of holding a baby, and all are right. Every age has a keyhole to which its eye is pasted. By the time the fool has learned the game, the players have dispersed. It is difficult for two long-nosed lovers to kiss. Every age has its pleasures, its style of wit, and its own ways. It is a comforting thought in times of trouble. It is not our trouble. No man can outwit their ancestors. Wisdom is like a baobab tree. No one individual can embrace it. When a bitter woman takes over the house, the family she rules is doomed. There is not a passion so firmly rooted in the human heart as that of envy. To know is not to prove nor to explain. It is to exceed to vision. Your body is a temple of knowledge. One day in the life of a wise man is worth a fool's entire life. The world belongs to the enthusiast who keeps cool. Comedy is an escape, not from the truth, but from despair, a narrow escape into faith. No person is your friend who demands your silence or denies your right to grow. Wonder is the feeling of a philosopher, and philosophy begins in wonder. Chastity is a wealth that comes from the abundance of love. It is in adventure that people succeed in finding and knowing themselves. Affliction smarts most in the most happy state. Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. A fish and bird may fall in love, but the two cannot build a home together. Lovers do not hide their nakedness. It is better to live as a lion for one day rather than 100 years as a sheep. Knowing sorrow well, I learn the way to succor the distressed. He who doesn't know anger doesn't know anything. He doesn't know the immediate. Something attempted, something done, has earned a night's repose. When a man feels the difficulty of doing, can he be other than cautious and slow in speaking? Only a wise person can solve a difficult problem. You cannot know a man's life before the man has died. Then only can you call it good or bad. Wisdom is not like money to be tied up and hidden. The civilization of one epoch becomes the manure of the next. Knowledge without wisdom is like water in the sand. The fool speaks, the wise man listens. Diplomacy is to do and say the nastiest thing in the nicest way. Truth is the strong compost in which beauty may sometimes germinate. What we get in the city is not life, but what someone else tells about life. The sun visits cesspools without being defiled. Apologies only account for that which they do not alter. A family is like a forest. When you are outside, it is dense. When you are inside, you see that each tree has its place. The united family eats from the same plate. Her family ties like a tree. It can bend, but it cannot break. A wise person always falls down the same hill twice. The best way of winning an argument is to start by being in the right. In the moments of crisis, the wise build bridges and the foolish build dams. Nobody is born wise. Tact in audacity is knowing how far you can go without going too far. Your worst enemy becomes your best friend once he's underground. I am myself plus my circumstance, and if I do not save it, I cannot save myself. A wise person will always find a way. When deed speaks, words are nothing. We acknowledge our faults in order to repair by our sincerity the damage they have done in the eyes of others. He who does not know one thing knows another. With the catching ends the pleasure of the chase. Where there are many, nothing goes wrong. Life is a tragedy wherein we sit as spectators for a while and then act our part in it. Fortune turns everything to the advantage of those she favors. You do not see the river of mourning because it lacks one tear of your own. A man of great common sense and good taste is a man without originality and moral courage. Faith in a holy cause is to a considerable extent a substitute for the lost faith in ourselves. A child is what you put into him. What is out of sight disturbs men's minds more seriously than what they see. We ask advice, but we mean approbation. Life, like a child, laughs, shaking its rattle of death as it runs. There are no ugly loves or handsome prisons. The purest and most thoughtful minds are those which love color the most. Every kind of love is love, but self-love is so. Dream among them. True love means what's mine is yours. If you close your eyes to facts, you will learn through accidents. We desire to bequeath two things to our children. The first one is roots, the other one is wings. A real family eats from the same cornmeal. One who causes others misfortune also teaches them wisdom. Whenever nature leaves a hole in a person's mind, she generally plasters it over with a thick coat of self-conceit. Dine with a stranger, but save your love for your family. Great is the art of beginning, but greater is the art of ending. I never knew a man who could bear another's misfortune. If I am in harmony with my family, that's success. It is convenient that there be gods, and, as it is convenient, let us believe there are. When one is in love, a mountaintop becomes a flat field. We love life, not because we are used to living, but because we are used to loving. If you are filled with pride, then you will have no room for wisdom. Old people who always masturbate always ends up with regret. The art of living is the art of knowing how to believe lies. Wisdom is wealth. Most of the change we think we see in life is due to truths being in and out of favor. Wisdom does not come overnight. The errors of a wise man make your rule rather than the perfections of a fool. A husband with a good wife will never be on the road without supplies. Sticks in a bundle are unbreakable. A mother cannot give birth to something bigger than herself. What the reason of the ant laboriously drags into a heap, the wind of accident will collect in one breath. The wise man never takes a step too long for his leg. If you educate a man, you educate one person. If you educate a woman, you educate a whole family. Brothers love each other when they are equally rich. Parents give birth to the body of their children, but not always to their characters. Every beetle is a gazelle in the eyes of its mother. It's better to fall from a tree and break your back than to fall in love and break your heart. He may say that he loves you. Wait and see what he does for you. God instructs the heart, not by ideas, but by pains and contradictions. A home without a woman is like a bond without kettle. Conduct is 3/4 of our life and its largest concern. Even the maid has a family. Experience does not err, only your judgments err by expecting from her what is not in her power. It takes a village to raise a child. In a family, if you have somebody who is troublesome, it's the family members who are more worried than the troublesome member. Don't meddle with the family feud. The hearts of the wise man lies quiet like limpid water. Wisdom is like fire. People take it from others. There is no such source of error as the pursuit of absolute truth. Death borders upon our birth, and our cradle stands in the grave. The wise creates proverbs for fools to learn not to repeat. Action springs not from thought, but for a readiness for responsibility. The painter, the sculptor, all artists live out loud.